Good morning. Well, let's get started. By a quick show of hands, how many of you have experienced levels of stress to a point where your sleep has been affected? If your hand isn't raised, you're either lying, not paying attention, or one of the fortunate few, because the majority of our population experiences stress at some level. Hello, everyone. My name is Dave Kent, and I'm a registered nurse and a health advocate at St. Luke's Health System in Boise, Idaho. What is a health advocate, you ask? A health advocate is a public health official that works to identify potential threats to public health, then increases awareness about the situation, and then educates people with the associated facts they need to protect their health. We work with environmental diseases like foodborne or waterborne illnesses, new emerging threats like West Nile virus, bird flu, or antibiotic-resistant staph infections, or complex public health issues that include health conditions that have not been linked to specific environmental factors. According to Luck 2014, integrative nursing's role is in optimizing the environment of healing and advocating for the health and well-being of all, local to global. With all of these areas of work, why are we here today? We're here to discuss the topic of reduction of stress in parents of developing families. What are the main stressors that affect our young families? Why is it important to reduce stress in the younger population? Do our children feel our stress, and how does it impact them? These are a few of the topics that we're going to discuss in conjunction with a few things that we can do every day to help minimize these stresses. Stress is a factor in everyone's life, and according to a recent study from the American Psychological Association, 69% of Americans report that they experience physical symptoms related to stress. The statistic is closer to 90% in young families due to all the extra stressors which they endure to maintain their household. 63% of parents report that their stress levels have a slight or no impact on their children's stress level, which is concerning when 80% of children say they learn their healthy living mechanisms from their parents or guardians. Common stressors that young families face are lack of money, not being able to keep up with the bills, the savings accounts, and the necessities of life, lack of time, related to families today needing both family members to work and can cause time constraints when balancing family and personal time. Family routine and responsibilities. Being stressed out, rushing the kids to childcare, work, returning home just in time for the chaos of supper and homework and bedtime. Some of the other notable sources for stress, according to the APA, was work, the economy, housing, and self and family health concerns. 75% of women and 67% of men report significant stress associated with their finances. 68% of women and 70% of men report significant stress associated with their work. 66% of women and 59% of men report significant stress associated with the economy. Irritability, anger, fatigue, loss of sleep, feelings that inspire crying, headaches, upset stomach or indigestion, muscular tension, and change in appetite were the highest reported symptoms of stress. Children were nearly 2 times more likely to say they were worried about their family's financial difficulties than their parents perceived. 30% of kids worry about having enough money when only 18% of parents reported this as a stress. Children are 3 times more likely to report having experienced difficulty sleeping in the past month than parents were to report this symptom on behalf of their children, 45% of kids compared to 13% of parents. But what does this mean? What are all these stats and why are they significant? It means that our children are feeling our stress and learning our behaviors. They're watching how we act and modeling their behaviors after us. Stress affects all of us and can present in many different manners, whether it presents as physical ailments such as pain, diarrhea, nausea, or in emotional behaviors like changes in eating or sleeping habits. They're all warning signs that may be a key indicator that you're closer to stress overload. What can you do to help stress in yourself and your family? 5 steps to creating a healthy environment for yourself and your family according to helpguide.org 2015 are: Step 1, learning why your emotions matter. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, manage, and express your emotions in healthy and constructive ways. Developing an emotional intelligence can bring your life into perspective and balance. Step 2, discover quick stress relief techniques. There are countless techniques for dealing with stress. Exercise, meditation, music, these are all examples that can relieve stress. having different mechanisms for each situation. By that I mean it's not feasible to go for a run during work when you're feeling stressed out, but perhaps there's something else that you can do that will help bring you some relief. A particular smell, a deep breath, a moment of reprieve, a particular picture, or maybe just your favorite piece of music. Just something that can help you lower your stress levels. Step 3, beat stress with emotional connections. We have to be able to recognize emotional overload. Recognize and rein in your emotional stress. Being able to understand and empathize with others. Communicating clearly and effectively. Make decisions based on things that are important to you. Get motivated and take action to meet goals. Build strong, healthy, and rewarding relationships. Step 4, learn how to ride the wild horse. Our feelings can oftentimes seem like a wild horse full of uncontrollable energy. Sometimes the only way to accept and tame these feelings are to take up the reins and learn to ride them. You have to first be aware of these feelings and understand them, but then learning how to stay calm and remain focused even in high stress or upsetting situations. You have to be able to manage unpleasant or threatening feelings. 5, practice and enjoy the benefits. It's important to continue to practice your stress management techniques, as this is a learned behavior. With this being a learned behavior, as you become more and more proficient at it, you can then teach these behaviors to your children. Being able to talk openly about feelings, stresses, and coping techniques will only make your family stronger. Remember to be patient and don't rush the process. People learn at different speeds and have different life challenges. You and the people around you will absorb more benefit if you just move slowly. So what are some goals for maintaining a healthy lifestyle and managing stress? Goals for managing stress, according to the Mayo Clinic, are the 4 A's: avoid, alter, adapt, and accept. Avoid. Avoid unnecessary stress. Not all stress can be avoided, but learning to say no and steering clear of people or situations that stress you out may help alleviate many stresses. Alter. Alter the situation. If you can't avoid a stressful situation, then alter it. Be assertive and deal with problems head on. Instead of bottling up your feelings inside and increasing your stress, vocalize your concerns and be willing to compromise. Adapt. Adapt to the stressor. When you can't change the stressor, change yourself. Reframe problems or focus on positive things in your life. If a task has stressed you out, then focus on the parts of your job that you do like and you do enjoy. Always look at the big picture. Is it really worth getting upset about? Accept. Accept the things that you cannot change. There'll always be stressors in your life that you cannot do anything about. Learn to accept the inevitable rather than rail against a situation and make it even more stressful. Look for the positive silver lining of a situation. Even the most stressful situations can be an opportunity for learning and personal growth. Remember, nobody is perfect, including you. There's also some physical health aspects that can be paired with goals to help strengthen you personally to help you better cope with stress. Setting aside relaxation time. Making time to complete activities that are relaxing for you can help your overall stress level by activating the body's relaxation response. Regular exercise. Regular physical activity plays a key role in reducing and preventing the effects of stress. Nothing beats aerobic exercise for releasing pent-up stress and tension. Eating a healthy diet. Well-nourished bodies are better prepared to cope with stress. Start your day with a healthy breakfast, reduce your caffeine and sugar intake, and cut back on alcohol and nicotine use. Get plenty of sleep. Feeling tired can increase stress by causing you to think irrationally. Keep your cool by getting a good night's sleep. Don't be afraid to ask for help. A visit to a counselor can help initiate coping mechanism understanding that may not be understood otherwise. Being open to personal or family counseling is never a weakness. So, in summary, the first part of solving a problem is recognizing that you have one. Today, stress is a growing issue that affects the majority of Americans in one way or another. Stress does not only affect American adults, but studies have shown that it affects our children too. Our children are sponges that are learning and absorbing both our good and our bad habits every day, whether we want them to or not. The best thing we can do is learn how to control our stress and teach our children what we have learned. We reviewed the 5 steps to effectively managing your own and family stress. Step 1, learning why your emotions matter. Step 2, discover quick stress relief techniques. Step 3, beating stress with emotional connections. Step 4, learning how to ride the wild horse. Step 5, practicing and enjoying the benefits. We also outlined some goals for managing stress. We reviewed the 4 A's: avoid, alter, accept, and adapt. We discussed setting aside personal relaxation time, the benefit of exercise, eating a healthy diet, getting plenty of sleep, and not being afraid to ask for help. We must always remember that Americans are more likely to change their behavior if they have a meaningful reward, something more than just attaining a certain weight or a BMI. A real reward has to be something that people can feel and celebrate. Stress is a real illness that affects all of us. Please use the techniques we have discussed today to help minimize the stresses not only in your life, but in your family's lives. If you have any questions or need any help finding some direction, please don't hesitate to reach out for me. Thank you all for your time and best wishes on a future of minimized stress.